Stop telling me what I can do, what I can say, what I can think, who my heroes are supposed to be. Just get the f off of me.
Bill Maher just dropped a major truth bomb on Drew Barrymore during his latest Club Random episode, and social media is lit up. The sharp-tongued comedian didn't hold back. He dismantled Barrymore's weak arguments with ease while critics rushed to express outrage. But Maher stayed unfazed, laser-focused on serving up blunt honesty with no sugarcoating. If you've missed this moment, now's the perfect time to hit subscribe, because the heat is only getting stronger.
You're a very discerning man. When it comes to a lot of things, you are.
It's a charitable word for it, but I appreciate it. Yes, I think I am. I mean...
I've watched you for decades go out there and speak your truth.
Yeah.
I don't think there is anything that exists of the truth. It's your truth. And
there is also in life the truth. We may not always be able to discern it, but there is the truth.
Barrymore leaned on one of the most familiar talking points. Truth is relative. It's the idea that everyone has their own truth. At first, it sounds profound, but in reality, it often sidesteps real debate. Facts don't disappear just because someone feels differently. Gravity doesn't stop working because emotions are hurt. Opinions can be valuable, but only when anchored to facts. Without that, they fall apart quickly. That's where Barrymore's reasoning stumbled. It wasn't bold or liberating, just a way to avoid accountability. Maher wasn't buying it, and he made sure to point that out.
But it's very hard to be the one on either side to ever proclaim you know what it is. That is a dangerous thing to do.
Agreed.
We always need to hear, because we don't know. We're not God.
no,
Right.
no.
But it does exist, the truth. Not everything is just your truth. I mean, your truth has become sort of like code word for just whatever I feel like believing. Well, that's not really the same thing as your truth. You feel this way.
Yes.
Feeling is not enough for me.
Maher kept pressing, highlighting how much of modern debate leans on emotions rather than evidence. Feelings shift day to day, and while they matter, they can't replace facts when making lasting decisions. Too often, emotional arguments are stretched into justification for serious choices, which Maher argued is both unstable and unwise. He cut through the noise with clarity. Truth isn't flexible. No amount of emotional framing can rewrite it. That's why his criticism landed so strongly.
No, but it is such a taboo subject, the truth.
It is. Oh, and it gets you hated.
Oh, as soon as I said it, I was like, the truth, that there is no truth. I'm like, that doesn't work. You can't say things like that.
Things got even more tense when Barrymore suggested Maher was only speaking his truth. She likely thought it was a compliment, but Maher immediately corrected her. There isn't your truth or my truth, there's just the truth. That response left Barrymore struggling for words, visibly caught off guard. The moment revealed how fragile certain slogans sound when met with clear reasoning. Maher's point was simple but powerful. Real truth doesn't collapse under pressure, and that's why it always holds up in the end.
But it's just so refreshing. Like, you were doing this before it was so dangerous.
Still dangerous.
And it is just way too dangerous now.
Yeah.
But you're still doing it.
It's slightly less dangerous than it was 2 years ago because we did have a vibe change. And because the Democrats lost so badly in 2020.
Barrymore then hinted that speaking freely today can be dangerous. Maher recognized this as an attempt to frame censorship as compassion, and he pushed back instantly. He reminded viewers of the peak cancel culture era, when many people lost jobs and reputations for expressing unpopular views. But times have shifted. Independent voices and alternative platforms have grown, and public tolerance for silencing opinions has faded. Maher emphasized that the fear which once muzzled speech is no longer as powerful. Free expression is regaining strength.
The blush is off the rose on left-wing censorship and, oh my God, you can't say that. Stop telling me what I can do, what I can say, what I can think, who my heroes are supposed to be. Just get the off of me.
Finally, Maher delivered a civics refresher. Free speech isn't a privilege handed out by cultural gatekeepers. It's a constitutional right. It guarantees that Americans can speak openly, even if their words upset some audiences. If speech crosses into genuine legal violations, the justice system exists to handle that. But outside of those limits, speech should remain free and unfiltered. Maher's reminder was clear. Protecting all speech, not just the comfortable kind, is what keeps democracy alive.
That is a lot of just what viscerally is going on with me when I have issues with the left. Just get the off of me. First of all, I don't believe you. You're not better. You're a lot of posers, not all of you, but just get the off of me.
Well, that's what I like is you call people out from all different areas, and I don't even know how to address parties anymore.
I have to give Bill Maher credit. Whether you agree with him or not, he's unshakable. He'll call out anyone, left, right, or in the middle. And that kind of consistency is rare in today's chaotic political stage. Compare that to mainstream outlets where the pattern is predictable. Hammer the right over every misstep, but quietly gloss over the left's bigger problems. That double standard has people tuning out. Maher doesn't play that game. He'll criticize Republicans when they go off track, but he's just as quick to spotlight Democrats when their arguments don't hold up. That's why, even with critics waiting to pounce, audiences keep listening. In a world drowning in spin and partisanship, Maher's willingness to call out hypocrisy wherever he sees it isn't just refreshing, it's essential.
If you're ballsy enough to be brave enough to say your truths or speak to what you believe is the truth, what scares you and what do you care about?
Oh, what scares me is a little bit me, that, at any moment you can say something that really in private conversation wouldn't upset anybody.
Yes.
But the snitches and will be able to use it to attack and end you, which they did once on Politically Incorrect.
That leads us straight into the heart of the issue: double standards. Behind closed doors, many of the same people who push outrage in public speak far more freely. They joke, they debate, and they admit things they'd never say on camera. But the second someone dares to share those same thoughts openly, the outrage machine flips on. Suddenly, it's a performance of moral shock, complete with online mobs demanding silence. It's rarely about the actual words. It's about control over who is allowed to speak, when they can speak, and how they must phrase it. Step outside those boundaries, and the pile-on begins. That's why cancel culture has always rung hollow. It's less about principle and more about power. And each time someone refuses to bend, the cracks in that system become more obvious.
I've been ended a few times, and I understand that it is real and it can happen.
Right. So, I always say, whenever I leave the house, not even to just do the show, just leave the house, I'm having dinner at a restaurant, but one of those rooftop restaurants. Because is it really dangerous? Not very, but you could fall off the roof.
Right.
When you eat at a normal restaurant, there's no danger of you falling off the roof. When you eat at a rooftop restaurant, there's very little, but it is possible you could fall off the roof.
Over the years, political leaders, especially on the left, helped create a culture where Americans felt like they had to tiptoe around every conversation. People worried one wrong word, one clumsy joke, or one poorly timed post could cost them everything. That constant second-guessing wasn't about genuine respect. It was about control. By fueling that fear, self-appointed gatekeepers got to decide which voices were acceptable. But now the tide is turning. Ordinary people are pushing back, tired of whispering and ready to speak openly again. That's why Bill Maher's exchange with Drew Barrymore mattered. It wasn't just a Hollywood moment. It was a symbol of something bigger. The system of censorship and double standards is breaking down. Independent voices are stronger than ever. Cancel culture has lost its grip, and audiences are no longer afraid to challenge the script. Maher showed that truth still cuts through the noise. The old facade is crumbling, and free speech is making a comeback. That's something worth celebrating. And that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit the subscribe button and share it with friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.